Greetings, my name is Amaru Pinkham, and I'm the author of a newly published book called Sedona, City of the Star People. Those of you that know about Sedona, and I think it's probably most of you that are going to see this video, know that this is a land of mystery. I'm sure you're familiar with this being a land of red rocks and red rock formations and vortexes, but you might not be aware that there's a lot of secrets here. And those secrets gradually reveal themselves to certain people. Now, there's one secret that's been revealed to me over the past 30 years, and I chronologue and document that finding, that discovery in this book. So I want to speak to you a little bit about that right now. I came to Sedona for the first time back in 1987, and I was directed to go into Sedona's biggest vortex called Borton Canyon. Very big canyon, and so as I was walking in there, I probably walked 2 miles before I noticed that there was a shelf that jutted out from the side of the canyon. And so I climbed up there, and I noticed I could see so much of the canyon. It was a beautiful view. So I sat down and I meditated and I prayed and I prayed. And then I opened my eyes. When I opened my eyes, it's like everywhere I looked, I could see temples. Amazing temples. Temples that looked like they could have been created the week before. I mean, perfect temples, carved out of the native red rock. They had symbols on them, covered with symbols. And there were statues nearby, perfect statues. So, you know, at that time I said to myself, I'm going to climb down off of this ledge, and I'm going to investigate these temples. So I did. I climbed down, but unfortunately, I'd get within 100 feet of a temple or a statue, and then when I got any closer than that, it would just dissolve, or half of it would disappear. And by the time I got up close to it, all that was left was this foundation, a ruin. Well, what I realized eventually is that those temples that I was seeing initially, I was seeing temples in their perfection. All right, this is how the temples looked a long time ago when they were first built. And you can still see them in their perfection in another dimension. But the way they look today on the physical dimension is as ruins. How did they become ruins? Well, as I researched more about the history of Sedona, I found out that Sedona has been underwater almost as much as been above water. It's been covered with water, either nearly so or completely so. And so what I was seeing is water where the temples were destroyed by the water. Well, when I left Borton Canyon that day, I said to myself, look, you know, if it takes the rest of my life, I'm going to dedicate myself to understanding what these temples are about. And so I came back to Sedona virtually hundreds of times and went right into Borton Canyon. I lived down here in the late 80s, and I moved back down here about 13 years ago. And I've continually gone back in there time and time again. And so what I wanted to find out, what I wanted to know is who built these temples and why they were built. Finally, someone told me about the legend of Palikwapi, the Hopi legend of Palikwapi, the city of the star people. And once I heard that legend, I knew that that supplied the answers that I needed. According to that legend, it said that the Hopi clans, when they arrived in North America, they were sent throughout the Western Hemisphere by Masao. He was one of the star people that they met. He sent them throughout the Western Hemisphere, and he says, when you're done, come on, everyone should come back here. So thousands of years later, they all met back. And they were sharing notes. Well, what did you see? What did you experience? And invariably, each clan talked about being in this incredible city of light and temples called Palikwapi, that was inhabited by the star people, which they call the Kachinas, that taught them the mysteries of the universe, the mysteries of human evolution, everything, and taught them many of the rites and ceremonies that they still do today. They still practice today on Hopi Reservation. But one thing that all the clans could agree on is that Palikwapi, its location was southwest of Hopi Reservation today, and it was destroyed by a great flood. They could all agree on that. All right? But they all could trace they could trace the path that they took from Politquapi to the Hopi Reservation. Now, when the ethnographers and archaeologists and anthropologists that study with the Hopis, when they learned about the legend, they retraced the steps of the Hopis from Hopi Reservation to Politquapi, and where did they end up? They ended up here. They ended up in Verde Valley in Sedona. And in fact, today, there's a trail called the Politquapi Trail that connects Sedona with the Hopi Reservation. They were so sure, some of them were so sure, like Jesse Fuchs, that this was ancient Politquapi, that they named one of the places here that's full of petroglyphs, called Palatka. They named it Palatka because Palatka is a shortened form of Politquapi. Now, once I heard that legend, I started going around Sedona and seeing red rock formations everywhere. And I realized that these red rock formations were connected to Politquapi. And I'm in front of a couple of the red rock formations here at Soldier Pass in Sedona today. And these are some of them that I believe, a couple of these that I believe were actually created by the Kachinas, the Star people. But they're all over Sedona. They're not just here, they're everywhere. Now, along the way, I also went back into Boynton Canyon. I was directed to climb up the side of the canyon in a different part of the canyon than I'd been before. And when I got up there, I looked out and I saw like a horseshoe shape of temples. And in the center was like a gigantic throne. It was like a court of a king. Well, as it turns out, I learned that Masao is known by the Hopis as the king, the lord of this world, and according to some legends, he was actually living in Politquapi. So this court that I have discovered in Boynton Canyon could be his court. All right. Pictures of that court are actually in this book. Since that time, I've learned a lot about the Star people and the Kachinas. The Star people apparently lived physically amongst the Hopis right down until the time of the European invasion. And then it said that they became invisible, and they lived half the year in the Hopi Reservation, and they lived half the year up on the San Francisco Peaks in Flagstaff. But tradition has it, prophecy has it, that they're coming back again. And there's actually a petroglyph on Hopi Reservation that shows a little spaceship. And they say it represents the spaceship that these beings, these Kachinas, came in originally, as well as the spaceships that they're going to return in. And they're scheduled to come anytime. And what the legend says is that they're going to return back to those people that they were with once before and to the places that they created once before, such as Sedona. And so it's my belief that places like Sedona, where the Star people lived, the cities they created, are getting revived. And they're being shown and revealed to the right people, because the Star people are going to come back and reclaim these cities, and they're going to assist us at that time. Now, all that as I said, all that is contained within this book. And there's many images, the red rock formations, pictures in this book of what I believe were images created by the Kachinas, the Star people. So it is my hope that you will all come to Sedona now with the idea that this is the city of the Star people, and open yourself up to the mysteries, and Sedona will reveal itself to you in the way that's appropriate for you. Maybe you will see a temple, maybe you will see the remaining part of Politquapi. And I hope that when you come that I can greet you here and welcome you to this incredible city. Thank you.